Welcome to the Conscious Millionaire Show, episode number 1513.
This is Gloria Flora. On today's show, I'll share my perspective on the cutting edge of higher purpose.
Welcome to Conscious Millionaire, the number one show for the conscious entrepreneur who wants to make your first million. Join JV on each episode as he interviews a millionaire entrepreneur or world-class expert. You're listening to the Conscious Millionaire Network, named in Inc. magazine as one of the top business podcasts and heard by 12 million listeners in 190 countries. Now, join your host, JV Crum III, mindset and strategy expert, serial entrepreneur, and author of the number one international bestseller, Conscious Millionaire, Grow Your Business by Making a Difference.
Hello, this is your host, JV Crum III, and I am super excited. I have a longtime friend. In fact, we were talking before the show. We've been friends for over 15 years. She is an expert in sustainability, and we're going to be discussing her perspective on the cutting edge of higher purpose. Now, help me welcome our featured guest. She directs Sustainable Obtainable Solutions, a nonprofit ensuring the sustainability of public lands, which she founded after 23 years in the U.S. Forest leadership role. She's also an expert consultant, speaker, and educator on climate change action, environmental issues, biochar, collaboration, and permaculture. Help me welcome Gloria Flora. Gloria, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for the invitation.
Well, I know that your joke, which I'm going to steal from you, is there are a lot of plants named after you because of your last name, Flora, but you actually do have a plant named after you. Isn't that correct?
Actually, it's a toad.
It's a toad. So there's a Gloria Flora toad. Folks, I just had to bring that up because most of us don't have toads or flowers or trees or animals that are named after us. You know, I want to start off with, because you are so focused on the environment, and yet you're also focused on entrepreneurship and how those of us who are in business can do things to help the environment and grow businesses that actually solve problems that are environmental in nature. So why are environmental issues so important? Why should they matter for entrepreneurs?
They matter because our very lives depend on the quality of the environment. We breathe air, we drink water, we eat food that's grown in the environment. And if we're not healthy as a result of the air, water, or things that we ingest, then we're not going to be working at our peak. And we're going to be surrounded by people in our families or our circle of friends who are likewise unhealthy, not feeling well, not operating at their peak. And peak performance is what it's all about.
Well, you know, I love that answer. As a guy who's, since I had a heart attack last year, I've been much more focused on health and working out and clean eating. So I'm curious, because there is a relationship, what's the opportunity for entrepreneurs in relationship to the environment and actually creating and building companies that are going to solve problems? So what is the real opportunity? Because a lot of times, you know, we think of it, but it seems theoretical. And I'm thinking on a practical level, how does an entrepreneur get involved in doing something that's actually going to make money and have an impact? Well,
there's two approaches you can take. One is the reactive approach, and that's not a bad approach, but that's not optimum, because what we're saying is the problem already exists. We have an issue. Water is polluted. Our food has too many toxins in it that are getting into our systems. So we can do things and create businesses around cleaning the environment or renewable energy, but there's also the proactive. And the proactive approach would be looking at how can we make our environment even better than it already is? How can we upgrade the quality of our food? Food is an excellent example. The nutritive value of food that's grown in industrial agricultural settings is about 30% less nutritious than food that's organically grown or grown more locally and with a focus by the small farmer who's improving their soil as well as producing quality food. So there's really an endless amount of opportunity out there, particularly as people become more aware and more concerned about both their health and what kind of a world are we leaving for our children.
Well, I want to go in a direction that we typically don't, but it's only because it just doesn't come up. How does spirituality relate to both the environment and to entrepreneurship? And it's kind of a double question, but I think there is a relationship here.
Well, there really is, because taking care of the environment, being a steward of our environment, is really a moral calling. It's a higher moral purpose. So if you're looking at protecting the environment or do things to improve the environment, you're actually doing things that resonate with the heart.
So let's talk about resonating with the heart, because at Conscious Millionaire, we're always talking about building a business that connects to an inner purpose, some higher purpose that you have as an individual, and that you bring this into your business, and there's an impact you want to make. And all of that actually starts with you. And then you go out and you do your market analysis and find out, well, which market can you best make that difference for, and which of those markets want a product that would be that difference that you're making, which is a solution, and would pay you for it and eagerly pay you for it. And so you build a business that way. How does that relate to the heart in terms of our journeys as individuals and entrepreneurs?
Well, there's 3 levels of intelligence. There's our brain, which is a very functional servant. There is our heart, which is more of our intuitive side. And then there's also our gut. And I'm not making this up. These are scientifically proven that we really do have 3 different types of intelligence. I think Einstein sums it up really well. He has said, the intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and forgets the gift. So when we look inside ourselves to see what is our higher purpose, why are we here, what is it that we have come here to do, that's what's going to give us the answer on how to create a business that resonates with us, comes from a place of passion, of concern, of love, and is really going to make us feel like better people. And when we feel like we're a better person, we can help others become a better person.
Well, there's a rising of consciousness around the planet, and I talk about it frequently. I think it has a lot to do with where we're going to head and what I've predicted is the next gold rush, which is going to bring together technology, consciousness, and entrepreneurship. From that perspective, I'm curious just to talk about how consciousness and the rising up of consciousness to higher consciousness. We're going to have Kiva on the show, and I was talking to him, and I said, you really exist because of the increase in consciousness, because people are concerned that a mother who's 3,000 miles away, who they're never going to meet, has an ability to send her children to school and buy them clothes and have food for them. So that's a rising of consciousness. How does that affect decisions that we make as entrepreneurs, as business owners, both in creating our business, but actually I'm thinking also about how we run our business, how we think about our stakeholders, how we develop our team? Well,
I'm glad you brought that up about our stakeholders and our team, because a business owner, an entrepreneur, needs to set the tone for their business and what they expect, not only from their employees, but from the people that their stakeholders, as well as the people they serve. And if you don't start with a tone that's based on honesty, integrity, and ethical behavior, good luck, because otherwise you're going to face all kinds of obstacles that crop up when people act in opposition to those qualities.
So what I heard is that you need to be grounded in who you are. and then bring
Oh,
that
absolutely.
groundedness into your work as an entrepreneur and into your team.
You do. Absolutely. And it's not special behaviors. It's really basic human kindness. It's compassion. It's listening well so that you really understand your customers or employees' interests, not just their positions or their declared belief, but really how they act, how they perform, because that tells you what their true beliefs are.
So let's talk about beliefs. What are some of the beliefs that you found really support both the environment and entrepreneurship and bringing the two together? What types of beliefs will empower people to move forward?
I think when we come from a position of loving ourselves, trusting ourselves, and wanting to be the best person we can be, I think that formulates a really strong foundation. And it really doesn't matter whether you pray or you meditate or you commune, whatever you want to call it, with whatever entity or belief system or religion, spirituality, whatever it is. There's just that need to connect to yourself and to recognize that you are a part of something much, much bigger. And there are a lot of other souls out there who are trying for the same thing, trying to be a better person, trying to help others, trying to live a life of love and compassion and forgiveness. And so if you are sending out that kind of energy, you're going to attract those kinds of people to you, and they're going to be your best customers.
Well, I really like that, because one of the things that I've been noticing lately as I continue to evolve and have also evolved who I'm working with on a private level is the more clear I become about how it is that I want to uplift them, how I want to help them create that big wow, make their big impact, and who seems to be ideal for me to work with to do that, who I get my best results with, and therefore that's who I should attract. What's interesting is that clarity and that belief in me that I'm on the planet to help entrepreneurs who truly want to make a big impact with their life. They want to play bigger than they are right now, wherever they are. I mean, so it doesn't matter where they're at in terms of that desire, but do they have a desire to play bigger? Have they had some success, but now they want to have more? But there's almost an insatiable desire to have success, but it isn't as much ego-driven as it is, I really want to make a big impact. I don't want to leave the planet and feel like I didn't do my part, that I didn't make my mark, that I didn't help other people in the way that I'm here. I hear that over and over again, and those are the people I'm attracting to me. And they want to build their business so it's more financially successful. It's the conscious millionaire part. And there's a set of beliefs there that they're on the planet to do this, and that they're supposed to be doing this. It's like it's almost like they're in a way, whether they use the word or not, calling. It's their reason for being.
Yes.
And I think that's what you're talking about with heart-based as well.
Absolutely. You said it so well. I'm I don't think there's a question in there. I'm just going to applaud the statement. It is heart-based, heart-centered leadership, centered work.
Well, I'll kind of turn it over to you, and I'll let you ask the question. What is the question that I haven't asked that you think should have been asked before we go to break and go on to the next part of the show?
Well, I'd like to go back to your original question about why the environment is important. And one of the things that I like to do when giving a speech is to ask people in the audience to raise their hand if they know exactly and precisely where their water comes from. And you get about 50% of people raising their hand, maybe, if you're in a rural area in particular. Do you know exactly and precisely where your food comes from, where your medicine comes from, where your clothing comes from, where your building materials come from? If you don't know how to answer those questions, how do you know that those vital life supports are being handled and treated sustainably? How do you know they're going to be there tomorrow or next year or for your children? We have aggregated our responsibility to pay attention to the things that support our lives.
I think those are great questions, and like you, I'm going to now say I think you've said what needs to be said about those, because I think asking those questions are really important, because I found myself thinking that living in the middle of a 3 million person city, I actually don't know exactly where all the water comes from. I know it comes from reservoirs, but it would be, I think, interesting to know exactly how it got into my sink. And so I think you bring up really important questions. We're here with Gloria Flora. We've been covering a variety of topics related to spirituality, environment, entrepreneurship, building companies from the heart, and doing something that matters with your life. And we'll be right back with the 24-hour challenge. Are you a six-figure entrepreneur who is serious about reaching your first million? Then I want to offer you an opportunity to have a complimentary accelerator coaching session with me. Now, there are a limited number of these sessions, so if you're serious about reaching your first million, apply today. Go to consciousmillionaire.com/apply. Again, go to consciousmillionaire.com/apply. Welcome back. I'm with Gloria Flora, who is a sustainability expert, and it's time for the 24-hour challenge. Now, I gotta warn you, children, put your hands over your ears. Maybe it's joking, but when you hear it, she's going to ask you to do something that I would be curious, and I would love to hear from you. You just go to consciousmillionaireshow.com. You can send me an email or a voicemail, and I'd love to know if you did this, because it's actually quite a challenge. What's your 24-hour challenge, Gloria?
Well, it may seem a little gross and perhaps unsanitary, but I think that it has an important purpose. And that is, I would challenge you to get a large basket or bowl and place it in on your dining room table. You can line it with a used plastic bag, a recycled plastic bag, please. And for 24 hours, I want you to put every bit of waste that you generate into that basket. And that can be, if you get a Go cup of coffee, I want your stirrer, your coffee cup, everything that you would otherwise not recycle. You can get a buy if you're going to recycle some material. But food scraps, everything. Just in 24 hours, just look at the amount of waste that you generate. And then ask yourself, is this really sustainable? Is this what I want my legacy to be? 4 tons of garbage that I could have either recycled or reused or not bought in the first place. And if it's too uncomfortable to put that on your dining room table where you will no doubt see it, then at least have a separate bag or box that you collect your waste for one day and bring home whatever it is at the office or anything else that you generated. It all has to go in that one basket. And then ask yourself, is this okay? I think
that's a great challenge, and I admit that it's a big one, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to ask you to do it, and let's learn together, because that awareness is how we can make new decisions. I want to reach out to you personally. Thank you for being our guest here, our listener. We love to hear from you. Again, you can go to consciousmillionaireshow.com, send me an email or a voicemail. And I want to particularly thank our friends and fans in Colville and Spokane, Washington. And now it's time for the Conscious Millionaire questions. I want to start off with, what are 3 secrets that you've learned that would help other entrepreneurs grow their businesses, reach their first million, and make a big difference?
Well, I've already talked about a couple of them. One is have a personal foundation of integrity. That includes honesty and ethical behavior. Recognize your 3 levels of intelligence and use them. Don't just rely on your brain. Listen to your heart, listen to your gut. And then stop being part of the problem. Look at the results of your 24-hour challenge. Is that part of the problem? If so, start making some changes.
So I'm curious, I know that you're a great reader, and what is a book that you'd recommend for entrepreneurs?
Well, besides yours, which I love, I would suggest, you're welcome, Tapping into Ultimate Success by Jack Canfield and Pamela Bruner. I like tapping, the emotional freedom technique. I think it's a really good self-help tool. And I really like how they approached the question of ultimate success. It includes wealth, but it is also looking at other obstacles that might be slowing you down in your advancement and in finding joy.
Well, in my book, Conscious Millionaire, Grow Your Business by Making a Difference, I focus on what I call the new path to your first million. And it's not first focusing on the money. It's first focusing on the impact. And what's that impact, that one impact you're going to become known for, and how to turn that impact that you make for your clients and your customers into the profits that you get in return. What's the positive impact? Because you do a lot of consulting, you do various kinds of work that you're always wanting to make with your customers and clients.
I want them to remember their relationship with their landscapes. If I can walk away from a discussion and have people going, oh, I see, or I get it, or even watch them make changes in the landscape around them, either in a group effort or individual effort, but just do something that improves the environment, then I think I've been successful.
Well, you may be saying, I like all the deeper aspects of what Gloria is talking about, and I really want to be able to reach out to her. What's the best way for people to connect with you?
I'm on LinkedIn, and my email is pretty straightforward, and that seems to be the best way to connect.
We'll have all the ways that you can get a hold of Gloria Flora at ConsciousMillionaireShow.com. Just scroll down, you'll see the title of today's show, The Cutting Edge of Higher Purpose. And here's her email. It's G for Gloria, Flora, Flora, at s-o-solutions.org. And again, we'll have all the ways, including social media, that you can get a hold of Gloria Flora at ConsciousMillionaireShow.com on the show notes. Now, you're always wanting to expand, and you're always moving forward and doing new things and looking at how you can impact the world in a bigger way. What's that next summit you want to climb, and what might be a challenge or an obstacle you've got to overcome in order to reach it?
I'm glad you asked. One of the projects that I'm involved in right now is called the Seed Movement. And the Seed is a film, it's a book, both are pending, and it's all about finding your higher self, connecting to whatever entities and people that make you feel better and make you a better person. And one of the exciting things about the Seed is that from the proceeds that we expect from the book and the film, we're going to start the One Corporation. It's a transparent corporation, which will be built on a very interesting set of principles, unlike most corporate principles that are out there now. And the purpose will be to improve humanity's situation, address poverty, and also my role is helping to ensure that globally we plant 5 billion trees in the next 10 years.
I love that. And folks, I knew about the seed, but I didn't know about the one corporation. And so I'm looking forward to hearing a lot more about the differences in the belief systems and the transparency and how it's going to be set up. I want to thank you for showing up. And as I say, there's no accidents. We covered some deep territory here today with Gloria Flora, and that was my intention because Gloria and I have known each other a long time. And whenever we get together to chat, it's always on the deeper levels and the deeper levels and the higher levels of consciousness. So it's been a lot of fun for me, and I hope that it was enlightening and insightful for you as well. I look forward to connecting with you on the next Conscious Millionaire and would love to hear from you. Just go to consciousmillionaireshow.com, send me an email or voicemail. And Gloria, as always, it's just fun to be with you. Thanks so much for being here.
Oh, thank you, JV. I feel the same. It's just always wonderful to talk with you and see where you're going next.
Hello, Conscious Millionaire Tribe. I know a lot of you have reached six figures, but now you're stuck. You're not sure what steps to take to reach your first million, and that just leaves you confused and even overwhelmed. So I decided to help conscious entrepreneurs who are serious about reaching their first million by gifting you an accelerator coaching session with me. However, there are a limited number of these sessions, and when they're gone, they're gone. So apply now. Go to consciousmillionaire.com/apply.